Well, good morning. Good to see everyone on a cold Liberty morning here. Appreciate you coming out. Want to begin, I guess I should introduce myself. My name is Dallas Ackerman, Director of Communication with the Liberty School District. This is Coffee with the Community, an opportunity for us to, this year, get out into the community and present on a topic relevant going on in the district, and we think this month is very relevant in the fact we're talking about the LPS digital transformation and all the technology happening in Liberty schools. Before I turn it over to Trey Kotzer, our Director of Technology, I just want to thank Hy-Vee for having us this month. I mentioned just a moment ago, this year we're doing something different and actually getting out into the community and visiting several parts of the Liberty, Kansas City area. And I want to thank Hy-Vee, Hy-Vee of Liberty, not only for having us today, but I thought I'd also mention all of their support with our Hy-Vee character trait luncheons that we have in this room each month. I see Angie Reed, a member of our Board of Education, that's been so kind to join us this month, and she's taken part in those events, and they're just so great, and it's a great partnership between not only Liberty Schools and Hy-Vee, but also the Liberty Area Chamber of Commerce. So I want to thank them for all their continued support. So thank you, Hy-Vee. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Trey Kotzer, who is going to begin our presentation. We have a lot of great things to show you today. Despite being out of the district, we're going to take you into the district as they have several connections with buildings throughout Liberty Schools that we're going to take you to. And I'll have Trey introduce some of the special guests that are going to join us in person here as well. So, Mr. Trey Kotzer, thanks for coming.
Thank you, Dallas. Yes, again, as Dallas mentioned, this presentation hopefully is going to be pretty interactive. We're going to connect back to some people back at the schools, so Tracy and I will actually be swapping our devices back and forth on the screen, so we'll do some changes back and forth as we get those people on. But again, thanks for taking the time to come out today to learn some more about our digital transformation and things we've been doing at Liberty Public Schools. Really, this is our second year for one-to-one at the high school level, and this is our first year for one-to-one in grades 3 through 8. So we've done a lot of work in the last few years, getting things ready, preparing, and just having a lot of fun. I think getting the digital initiative going, getting the kids utilizing technology to help them, learn more things, get more in depth, be able to research more, those types of things. And Tracy and Scott and instructional coaches, they're doing a great job working with the teachers with professional development and getting them ready to go to make that transition easier, to make the integration more and things like that. So it's been a lot of work for a lot of different people. It's definitely been a group effort from top down, community as well, and getting that ready. Also this year we have our elementary schools doing a pilot, because next year we plan to provide devices for students in grades K through 2. And so we're working through that process. We have teachers at all 10 elementary buildings other than Epic, since Epic is already one-to-one K5, doing the pilot, and we're going through that, looking at what we're going to do next year, what device we're going to do, that type of thing. So that's kind of what we've been doing so far with the pilot at those schools. On the bottom here, you can see there's some survey results from our Bright Byte survey that we're doing this year. And with that survey, we are surveying students, parents, and staff, asking them various questions in regards to technology integration, and we're going to do that twice a year, hopefully for the next several years. And we'll learn from those survey results kind of some things we need to work on, some goals we want to set. But just, real quick, just to point out this, the question, of course, is technology use in the class can enhance student learning. And this is just from our very first survey from this year at the beginning of the year. And it's really nice to see that those numbers are so high. Because while education can still go on without devices, it is nice to have the devices to be able to get a little bit deeper, involve more, be able to do some more research, some better research. You have so much at your fingertips that you did not have before. So again, we're all about doing it when it's appropriate, when it's best for the students and so forth, but it just gives them that extra ability, that extra edge to help hopefully learn and grasp a little bit more on the concept that they're working on. So this is kind of a brief overview of kind of where we're at, again, where we've come from. Again, this is the second year for our high schools 1-to-1, first year grades 3 through 8, and then next year it'll be K through 2. So again, it's been a lot of fun and a lot of work has gone in, and we'll continue here to talk about some of the breaking barrier parts that we're going through. And Scott Hickey, one of our instructional coaches, he's going to come up and talk a little bit about that.
Thank you. My name is Sky Hickey, and I'm one of the instructional coaches in the district. And one of the things that I have the opportunity is going is seeing so many of the pockets of greatness that we have in each of our buildings. And so that's one of the things. I think we have taken probably over 100 teachers, Liberty teachers have dedicated or taken time. We rearranged schedules just to get them out and seeing different teachers within the district and seeing that greatness, changing their mindset, and seeing how technology can be integrated into their classroom. And so that's been a huge step in promoting this integration of technology. And so some of the things that we have done, is using Twitter, the social media. There's so many positive interactions that our staff have had with using Twitter in their classroom. We've had Twitter chats. We have teachers in one of our middle schools connecting with students in our high school and going back and forth chatting and having high school students answer questions for our middle level. And then same thing with our elementary schools. And so that's just been a great feature that social media has helped us with. The hashtags. Pretty much most of every single school has some hashtag in which they're using to promote their activities that are happening in their classroom. And that has just been a great way of getting everything out into the community. Google Communities has been another great feature that we're doing. In looking with our staff, we're connecting and collaborating outside of the district, working with educators through these communities and bringing in more ideas and connecting with other students and the other classrooms outside into the community. And so those have just been great features that have allowed us to, with this technology and incorporating it into the classroom. And then you have Instagram. A picture says so much. And so the students have been using that, have been taking pictures. We have the teachers that have been posting these pictures and incorporating the writing that goes into describing or creating a story that goes with these things. And so it's just been great to see how this connection, this technology with the one-to-one this year at the middle level, and the second year, how much it has grown with the high school from there. So.
Hey Scott, can you tell us a little bit about visiting the schools that are going back and forth and really looking at Liberty Public Schools?
So we have a lot of different cohorts, little small teachers small groups of teachers that are wanting to see what other teachers have been doing. And a lot of that has started by seeing activities that have happened through Twitter. And so they connect with the coaches or other groups to say, hey, can we go see what they've done? So we've taken some of our teachers to Epic and to Lewis and Clark and just kind of really focusing on and seeing some of these great things that are happening and how they're in I also see from the middle level, these elementary students are coming up. What are they bringing to us? And that's one of the big things that teachers are asking is, what is it that they're coming with? What skills of technology have they already been using that we can step it up a notch, or we don't have to reteach it, or so on. So that's been another huge aspect of seeing what it is that they're already using and then taking it up from there. Other questions on that part? Okay. All right.
Sorry. So one thing we're going to do now is we're going to go to a couple of the elementary classrooms, and we're going to talk with some teachers and a couple of students and kind of get their input about how their year has gone, some things they've seen, and what they've kind of liked about the devices. So I'm just going to take 1 second, and I'm going to switch my computer over to this device, and then we can get working with them. Okay. Alicia, do you want to say hello?
Hi. This is a first grade classroom at Kelly Brook Elementary. We're really excited to be talking with you this morning.
So Alicia, Tracy, do you want to ask? Forget.
Does Alicia want to introduce her classroom, like where she's from?
Sure. Alicia, do you want to go ahead and introduce kind of where you're from and kind of the devices you're using for right now?
Yeah, this is first grade at Kelly Brook, and we started the year with iPads, and we are currently using Nexus tablets.
And Alicia, I believe that since you're from Kelly Brook, we do have a family here that is actually has a student at Kelly Brook, so we'll have to see if we can see their student there. That's kind of exciting. We do have a couple questions for you. First of all, we are wondering, how has the access changed the learning in your classroom?
Well, I feel like our students are a lot more engaged and motivated, just in general, to learn. I feel like there's a lot more individualized learning because of all the apps that we have available that are giving them instant feedback and leveled for reading and math. So they're getting to work at their level on a daily basis throughout the day. It's given them a lot more choice as far as the different types of learning they can engage in and the different ways that they can create. Like I said, we have a lot more options for creating. They're able to blog and they're able to share documents that they're creating. They're utilizing video and their camera to upload video and photos into the pieces that they're creating.
Are you seeing that you're using more video and multimedia than you've ever used before?
Absolutely. I mean, every child has their own device, so I mean, every child could be creating video at the same time, which we've never had access to before. It's just amazing to see all that they're able to do, and the different media that they're able to incorporate into their writing and just any pieces that they're creating. They're able to use multimedia. It's just amazing.
And then tell me, Alicia, when your students are doing some of this creating and they're sharing out, when we're talking about first graders here, and I
Right.
think that a lot of people would like to know is how challenging is this? I mean, are they able to really do this, or are you having to do all this in the background for them?
No, they pick up the technology so quickly. A lot of times I show the class, and then one or two students kind of become my experts, and then they're able to work with the rest of the class to help them. In fact, we just created book reviews using iMovie, and I put two students in charge, and I was gone at a meeting one day, and they did like half of the iMovies for the class, so they were able to do it completely without my help. So they are very independent with the technology, and they pick it up very quickly. That was a concern, I think, for a lot of us doing the pilot, that teaching them how to use the technology would take up a lot of learning time, and it actually has not at all. In fact, it probably takes me longer to learn it than it does them. So they're very, very quick at learning the technology and how to use the different applications that we're using.
Now, I think we also have Lindsay Craycraft from Alexander Donovan. Lindsay, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. Okay. So tell us what is going on in your classroom as far as, you've got these devices. What are some things that you're seeing that you can leverage and that the students are able to do that they weren't able to do before?
Sure. Well, we're over at Donovan, and we started with Nexus tablets, and now we're on iPads. And so with the Nexus tablets, we did a lot of video creation, publishing their stories on there. We invited their parents to conferences using that. So now that we have the iPads, they've been able to do a lot more. We've just started using iMovie. There's specific apps, and we have a creation time during the day where the kids can just get on any kind of app where they can create things, and they can just make something, just to kind of explore those things. We just wanted to give them lots of options and lots of routes that they could do that if they wanted to present something or if they wanted to create. we had lots of different options to be able to do so.
Hey, Lindsay, can I interrupt you 1 second? Can you go to the top of your screen and click on video for us? We're not seeing your video. So if you go to the top of Google Hangouts, there should be a video camera.
Yeah.
See if you can click that for us.
Can you see me now?
Oops, we lost her. Okay, well, Alicia, we're going to go back to you.
Okay.
Can we pull a couple of students in? Can you ask some of your students? We'd really love to know, what are they being able to do? What do they like about having a tablet in their class? And can you just tell us your first name only, please? I'd love to introduce you.
Real loud. Nicholas.
Hi, Nicholas. Thank you for joining us. So can you tell us why you like, or what do you like to do with your tablet in the school?
I like that there's a lot of different math games and that they tell you how you're doing with your math right away.
Fantastic.
For that?
We did absolutely. And so you like to use yours for math, correct? And tell us, do you do a lot of creating in math? Do you get to
Yes.
to show your learning? Fantastic.
We use Picklaz and Kidblog.
Can you tell us a little bit about KidBlog? What do you like about that?
I'm going to have, Hunter's going to help him out because Hunter wanted to talk a lot about KidBlog too.
Perfect. All right. Let's see, Hunter.
The thing I like about Kidblog is that you can comment on other people's blogs that they make. That's what I like most about it.
Can you tell him?
Well, we use it for practicing math and reading, writing, stuff like that.
So then you're writing those things on your blog, and then other students are going in and they're putting in comments?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. So you actually have an audience. Do you feel like that makes you really more interested in what you're putting out there? Are you going back and making sure that you've written a nice sentence? Do you feel like that's helping you?
She wants to know if you do a better job of writing because other people are going to read it.
Yeah, I do usually.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
And Annika wanted to tell you a little bit about what she likes to do using Google Docs because we've used those quite a bit since we've had our tablets.
All right, Annie, what do you want to tell us about with Google Docs?
I like Google Docs because everybody can write on it at the same time.
That is fantastic. So do you guys create things together?
Yeah. Most of the time. Unless you're writing stories.
And we to collaborate together, especially when we're sharing our thinking about reading and doing research together. And then they've also been able to write and then share their writing with friends and with me. So it's been really nice to help them to collaborate and share ideas, and then we can all see kind of what everyone's thinking about and research that we've done.
That's fantastic. Ms. Stewart, do you have any other students there that would like to share before we jump over to Ms. Craycraft's class?
Yeah, I have one more. Ella wanted to share about Pit Collage.
Oh, excellent. Pit Collage has been a big winner this year.
Collage because you can stickers and type words in many different ways, like cursive, and you can get a background and save stuff.
So we've used Pit Collage quite a bit, and that's definitely a favorite for creating. And what we've really liked is the ability to app smash. So when they create something on Pit Collage, then they can upload it onto another app to add text and
Excellent. Okay, so let's jump over to Lindsay. I think we just froze at Kelly Brook. Hey, Lindsay. Oh, and now we're back. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Can you guys hear me now?
Sorry, yeah, we we just froze on Kelly Brook. And so, would you like to have some of your students share what they're learning about and
Sure.
using the tablets?
Yes. I have Henry and Ava here. They're very excited. And then Henry, do you want to talk about some of the things that we've done in class with the iPads?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have Google Slides, and I love making videos on that. It's really fun.
And then we
So
use
do I-
Adobe Flash.
Oh yeah, we used Adobe. That was fun. I liked making videos on Adobe. That was fun.
You want to talk to them about Lexia? Here, get closer so they can hear you. Talk about Lexia and what Lexia is.
Oh. I love using Nixie as reading time too.
So they have like apps that they can use in our classroom, some programs that we've bought for specific things. I know, you can come talk to, for some specific things like for reading, and so they're actually able to use it. And so when they log onto their iPad and they can go to their specific stations to read, they don't have to carry on their laptop with them, or we don't have to go to the computer lab. Okay, and then Eva.
I love using Raz Kids because they can read to you and you can do quizzes and you can read it by yourself.
What about
You can do quizzes.
And then they can look at their answers with their friends as well too. So we've done lots of different things. We've done a lot of video creations and making movies about the stories they've made, or even like interviews with their friends and getting to know you activities with them too. So we've done a lot with videos and quizzes. So
let me ask one last question before we move on to another group of people that are going to share. Mobile technology. So this is a tablet that you guys are using. Talk to us about how that might have some benefits in your classroom.
Well, last year I had enough computers for every child, and so they each had their own laptop, which was great. And this year with the iPads and even with the Nexus tablets, having something that's specifically theirs that they don't have to share with another student has just been absolutely wonderful. They're a lot smaller and easier to lug around, but having the specific apps so they're not having to every single time they need something go to a specific, I mean, we still use Symblue, but that way they don't have to go to Symblue every time. They can go to the app that they're using. They have their own headphones they can go to. We have more preferential seating in my classroom where they can go someplace specific to sit and use that. And so having that option to plug in headphones and going work quietly, those students who are really struggling with reading and really struggling even with some math concepts, going and sitting down and just having to read a book quietly for a little bit is sometimes really hard for them. So having those outlets when, you know, we can't pull them over in a group right away and they can go sit down and they can work on Raz Kids and have a story be read to them, and then we can pull them back over, be able to work with them, and then send them back has just been a great outlet for them. What did you want to say?
You know that where we log on?
Yeah.
I love using that.
Oh, she likes logging on because it's easier. It's easier to log on their iPad than it is to log on to a computer. So.
Oh, that's true. Well, thank you so much, both of the classrooms. Can we give the classrooms a round of applause for We do appreciate you guys' time, and I'm sure that if we have any questions, we will filter it to you guys, and then we can send it out to the rest of the community. So thank you so much for your time, both Ms. Craycraft and Ms. Newitt. We appreciate it.
Alicia, anything else, Alicia, before we go?
You know, we just really enjoyed also having the ability to take them home. And I know a lot of students are using the apps at home, and it's just been wonderful to be able to put them in some of those programs like Lexia and Front Row Math. And I know they're getting good instruction at home as well, and they've really enjoyed that, and also being able to create at home and then bring the tablets back and show what they've created. So that's been a great piece of the pilot as well, having that piece where they can take it home. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you guys. We appreciate it.
We are going to get back. Oh, let me get off here.
And then I can connect and then you can introduce the next group.
All right.
Yeah, Angie's in
Okay.
first.
So for next, we're going to talk about a little bit, kind of some things that the students are doing either with computer programming, Hour of Code. You may have heard that. So we have a couple of teachers that are joining us today to come talk about some things that they've done in their class. And first up we have is Miss Angie Klein up from Liberty High School. So I'll turn it over to Angie. I'll bring your slide up.
Thank you. Thank you. I teach up at Liberty High School, and when I first joined the Liberty School District, we were teaching just a few classes in technology. And since then, we've kind of grown the curriculum, and now we have 4 classes that are instructional based, and then we have 1 independent study. The web programming, we have an advanced web program for those students that want to explore some independent study in that area. This last year, we had a tremendous increase in enrollment, and I really think that a lot of it is due to the expansion of the curriculum as we start to push things down, and we push what I was teaching in the high school, and now we're teaching it at the middle level school, and then we just keep pushing it down and getting kids more exposed to technology a little bit earlier. So we added programming to the middle school curriculum, and so they're getting that exposure, and so I'm seeing a lot more kids come up to the high school wanting to explore these classes. These classes are all introduction level except for the AP Computer Science, so they can take any of the classes independently, or they can take all of them, and there's no specific order, and it just exposes them to a different part. Is the computer over here? Yeah. So the one great thing that we had happen last year was a group of students came to me and they said that they wanted to start a club, and they wanted to do something that would help show technology to other people in the district and other people, younger kids. They wanted to really help out the younger kids so that they could increase awareness of the options, especially to girls. That was really the main focus, was especially to girls. And so last year they started the club, and they started by going out to the middle school and doing some outreach and teaching them and doing some robotic things with some of the girls at the middle school level. Since then, they partnered with Colleen Jones, and we started hosting Tech Night, an annual event, and we bring in businesses and speakers and share a little bit about the technology fields and what companies are doing with technology in our area. From there, they went and hopefully we can get the pictures. See a little bit about the Tech Night. From there, they went and we started a hackathon. Company, VML speaker that I had come speak to the students, brought up the idea, and the kids were like, yeah, we want to do this. They're not hacking into systems. No, we're not doing that. But they come and explore a problem that they see in the community and come up with an application that would solve it. And there's a 24-hour lock-in. Professionals come from the area and mentor them through the evening. It's really about problem solving. I always tell the kids, get somebody from the art department, get somebody who's good in English, get somebody who just likes to, is a good speaker or something, because you can't have a team of all coders. You got to have somebody that can that think about the problem at a big picture. So they have a lot of fun, eat a lot of good food. But the good thing about the Tech Night and the hackathon is that it's extended our outreach to people in the community. And so what we're seeing is a lot of the companies are impressed by what our kids can do. And so they've been starting to volunteer job shadowing experiences. So we've had kids go to VML, 1102 Grand, Perceptive Software, and they spend a day, half a day with the professionals learning about the technology. Sometimes they come back to me and say, nope, not doing that. And then sometimes they come back and say, wow, I learned something a little bit more than what I did in the classroom. So it's been a great experience for them. The other thing that it's done for us is, we can get back to, yeah. The other thing that it's done for us is it's created the opportunity for the advanced web kids to work more on real world projects. The advanced web students do web solutions for people that need a web solution. So they've done things for a small little catering group that's local to us. They've done projects for a group a group out in Minnesota that she just wanted her exercise business to have a little bit more pop than it did before. They also do things for people inside our district. The industrial tech needs a little bit of exposure about what they do, so they built a website for them and branded them with the marketing group. They worked with marketing and worked with graphic arts and kind of branded them, and they're calling themselves Wood Innovations, and they got their own logo, and it's a good experience for them. They've also decided that they needed to help the kids at Liberty High. So last year they had a help desk to help the kids at Liberty High transition into using their Mac Airs. And then we developed tutorials that they can do to find the applications that they may not know how to use, and they can watch these tutorials. So they've created those as well. One things that I'm really proud of them about is we've started going to programming contests, and they've been competing against colleges, and they really do hold their own. The last one that we went to, and they competed against some colleges, there was 25 colleges, and they finished 12th. So they did an excellent job with that. I can't, I stress to my students, and I stress to the people in the community, and I stress to the other teachers, what we're doing with the club and the curriculum is not about creating a bunch of IT professionals. My intentions have never been that all these kids will go out and be programmers, because it's not about that. It really is about them thinking in a way that complements the computer. They're breaking down problems into smaller problems and solving it like a computer would do. They're creating algorithms, step-by-step processes that will help them solve problems, so that they can use that tool, because the computer is a tool, and they can use that towards whatever they do. We're just exposing them to a different way of thinking. So it's not really about creating a bunch of IT professionals. Of course, if a few of them go that direction, it's great, but that's not really what it is all about. So I'm very proud of them, and they're doing a great job. I'm going to turn it over to Epic, to Glenda, and the Hour of Code. She can explain that.
Oh, kind of. It's really hard to follow a high school computer program teacher and be a kindergarten person. So what we're going to do is, I'm Glenda Monachino. I'm a kindergarten teacher at Epic, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about coding and about the Hour of Code that we participated in. And while this iMovie plays, I'm just going to kind of talk through some talking points. The Hour of Code and coding really are for us just an introduction to computer science. We want even our youngest students to understand that they can control the computer and that they too can write code. At Epic, we use an app called Codable to teach some basic coding understanding. And so we are really working towards those 21st century skills of creative thinking, collaboration, communication, and creativity. And so you're going to see a clip here of Scarlett, and she is working with the Codable app, and she's learning the command of sequence. So she's taking this fuzzball, and she needs to roll it through this maze, and she needs to code it in the right order for the fuzzball to be successful. So if you'll watch her, she takes it right through. Oh, it's freezing on us a little bit. And then she earns stars and points and moves on. During the Hour of Code, we participated in many plugged and many unplugged activities to create those 21st century skills. Actually, some of Mrs. Klein's high school students came over and worked with us, and they served as kind of our public audience and as helping hands, and they were hilarious. They said things like, "I'm missing calculus to build mazes with blocks." And so the kids had design challenges that they had to work through in order to understand, because we want our kids to understand that working through a problem is important as well. Next, you're going to see a clip of a little girl named Nora, and Nora is learning the function of a loop, and it's really a repetitive pattern, and a computer programmer needs to save time and save steps in order to be more productive, and so she is coding the maze to roll through. So she's using a loop, and she's seeing that repetitive pattern twice. She tells it to loop twice, and she rolls the fuzzball through the maze. The intensity that they do when they do this. They're like, my brain hurts when we're done, and I love that. Like, that's a good thing. That means you worked hard today. I've learned a lot about this. I did not know any of this until late last spring. So we want them to know also that you're not always successful on your first try. So we pull out the marble mazes and we gave them a design challenge. And they had to build and rebuild and rethink. And so that scientific process, that inquiry process, was very present throughout this experiment. We also talked to our kids a lot about grit and how really do you respond to failure. We don't really want them to fail, but we want them to be able to respond to failure in a successful way. And so building and retrying and working through is really important. We know that 70% of the jobs that they'll have in the future have to do with science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and we need to prepare them to kind of start thinking that way. Aaron is working through a maze with conditions, and if you'll notice the little color squares, he has to tell the fuzzball what to do when it lands on a colored square, and so he writes the code to work through those conditions. And it's really like solving the machine riddle and computational thinking. You have to decompose the problem in an abstract kind of way. We want our students to be the adults working with the tool of intelligent machines, not being replaced by those machines. The functions that we teach with this app are sequence, condition, loop, and debugging, and you'll learn more about debugging in just a bit. This is Grady, and Grady sent it through. He had it completely correct until the very last condition. He made the condition green instead of yellow. And the greatest thing about this app is if it doesn't work, you have 3 tries, and then it gives you a little tutorial on what you need to do to kind of help fix it. They're faster than I am, and they get in places sometimes. I'm like, can I just sit down and think about this one for a minute? And they're like, you really can't do this one off the top of your head? And I'm like, no, I really can't. And they're 5 and 6, yes. We also, like I said, participated in a lot of unplugged activities, which we do every day, but we know we're really talking about that computational thinking. And in kindergarten, computational thinking is a repetitive pattern. We want kids to sort and store and be able to categorize that information so they can retrieve it later. So they wrote their own mazes on graphing paper, which they thought was amazingly cool. And most kids don't think graphing paper is amazingly cool. Kindergartners think graphing paper is amazingly cool. And so they designed their own mazes just like engineers design their own things. Do you have a question? Oh, okay. I thought you maybe had a question. And I think this really also inspired a lot of our girls because it's kind of arts and craftsy, and they really did like this activity probably more than some of the other ones. The girls are really into the fuzzball, and I think of it as this. The girls want all the fuzzball outfits. They want all the different types of shoes, whereas the boys just want to go through the level. They just want to get higher and higher and higher. So it has both of those concepts included in the app. Austin here is working, and as I watched him do this, I thought, what is he thinking? He goes in and he writes it really fast, and then he changes it, and then he reworks. Self-correcting is an amazing skill. He notices, he fixes, he self-corrects, and then he gives it a try. Those are excellent problem-solving skills. I really didn't think he was right, and he was. They're getting better at using the terms to understand. Like if I say, take me to a place where you can show someone a loop, take me to where you show me a condition, they're starting to understand the language a little bit better, which is nice to see. At the beginning, they just wanted to get the maze through, the ball through the maze. We also built Lego mazes, mazes with Legos, and it was really so interesting to watch them problem solve. I'm used to it. I teach kindergarten. It's okay. They would build their maze, and they would have the entrance, but they wouldn't have an exit. And then they would have to go in and fix that. And then the kids that realized, oh, you need an entrance and an exit, and then they would fill in the middle. So understanding that there is more than one way to solve a problem became really clear, and the way each individual student learned that was really interesting. And they have so much pride in what they create, and they worked so hard. And then they get to try it out. There were over 1 million students that participated in the actual hour of code during that week in December. This is Aaron, and he's working on debugging. So basically, if you think about it as fixing the machine. So what's wrong with the code that's already written, and how do I fix it to make it better, to make it work? So just need to solve that riddle of the machine riddle. And he tells me, you either eat the bug or the bug eats you. Aren't they fast? Yeah. I'm really impressed at how fast you can, that mental math capacity of holding that all up in your head and working through that problem. Yeah, yeah, I do. It's really kind of interesting to watch. We know that we're helping our students propel into the 21st century, and we're just opening the world of that computer science to them. So, hope you enjoyed that.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. Kindergarten. I mean, that's amazing, right?
It is amazing. It really makes me feel not very smart sometimes.
I love it. Well, and I think what's really great about that, and what we're seeing is that so many of, so much of what's happening is that the teachers are learning with our students, but in no other time is a teacher more important than they are right now, because students do have access, and that's amazing, but we do have to remember that it's the adult that's in that area facilitating the learning and really supporting the students in what they're doing, which is what makes what you're seeing happen. And so that is kudos to all of our teachers. Now, Trey has Angela Rosheim. I'm sorry, I got to kick out of my computer. We have, Trey, you want to introduce Angela? Angela Rosheim is a library media specialist at Lewis and Clark, and many of you might know that she received a grant this year to have a makerspace. And so there's Angela right there. Hi, Angela. And so Angela is going to do a little digital walkthrough for us because obviously we can't take you all to her space, but what we can do is bring her space to you. So I'll hand this over to you, Trey, so that you can get her all hooked up.
Yeah, so Angela, can you hear us okay?
I can, yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So yeah, we'll kind of turn it over to you, and you kind of talk about your guys' journey there at Lewis and Clark and what you've done.
Okay, I will do that. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me. I'm going to start a little bit with the history of why and how we have a makerspace and why we have a makerspace. It's kind of our journey started at the middle of last year. We started teaching in the libraries in Liberty with a Genius Hour concept. And what that means is instead of everybody researching the same topic, a famous person or an animal, kids got to follow their passions and learn about what they wanted to learn about. So while we were preparing for Genius Hour for the very first time, I started showing them videos of kids who had pursued their passion and had really become really innovative. And one of these videos was called Kane's Arcade. So we were all watching this, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade students, and I'd watched it like 12 times because I showed it to every class. And in one 4th grade class, there was a little girl who went and told Mrs. Haynes, my paraprofessional, we should do this. And at the same time, I was kind of thinking, yeah, maybe we can pull this off. So we tried it. And basically what Kane's Arcade showed us is a little boy named Kane who was spending the summer in East LA in his dad's car parts store, and he needed something to do. So he started creating games out of boxes. So in order for us to do this and follow his lead, we gathered boxes, we asked for tape, and we started designing and creating arcade games out of boxes and recycled materials. And what I found through this and what Mrs. Haynes saw through this is our kids are just, well, they were because so much has changed. They were used to the teachers telling them when to do it, how to do it, where to do it, and how everything needed to look, and we didn't do that. And what we started noticing is the kids were not thinking for themselves. They would come to me to tear tape for them.
They would come to me if their scissors got stuck in the tape and want me to fix it for them. So for a couple of times I did that, and then I'm like, you know what, we need to figure this out. And so I would say, if you want to use the tape, you're going to have to figure it out. And they did. So we started kind of talking about failure, what you do when something fails, how you can always come up with a solution. Mrs. Haynes and I shared our failures, and kids would start coming to us with, these are our failures, but we fixed it by doing this. So we started noticing that we needed to teach a little bit differently. So we jumped right into Genius Hour after that, and the kids were coming up with their topics. And after we had made these games, they kind of realized, you know what? Library's kind of changed a little bit. We might have some other ideas or plans that we want to create. So I had kids that wanted to create robots and make apps, and they wanted to learn about things that I didn't have. They wanted circuitry. And it was killing me to have to say, no, we don't have that. No, we can't do that. So I started to problem solve and thought, you know, we've got to do something to get the sources that our kids need. And I had been noticing on Twitter this word makerspace. So I started researching. I started reading people's blogs who were mentioning it. I bought some books. Dr. Palmer bought me some books. And I just started reading about it. And it was eye-opening to me. Not because of the great stuff we could get and we could have in our library, but because of what the kids could do with it. And so I did write that grant. Tracy mentioned that, and I was awarded that grant. And because of that, our teaching and our learning in the library has totally changed. We are not doing packaged learning anymore. We're not all going to one place and doing the same thing at a time. Kids are following their passion, and they include a lot of different things. And because of that grant, we were able to create a makerspace at Lewis and Clark. It started in a small room off the office, or off the library, that is now a production room. And I'll show that to you in just a moment. And it's already moved because we needed more space. So we ended up moving our computer lab to a classroom. I guess because of our addition, we had some extra room. And so it went to a classroom, which was a win-win because I needed bigger space, the kids needed bigger space to work, and the computer lab was pretty small and it was hard to get around. So now we have a great lab in the classroom and we have a great makerspace. So I'm just going to kind of show you a little bit around the makerspace, show you some things we have, some of the projects that the kids are doing, and then I'll walk back and show you the production room as well. So at this point, if you are motion sickness inclined to look away for a second, and we'll tell you when she gets to her spot. That is the one thing we found. Okay, so are we ready? Yes. Okay, so this is basically one of our shelves that holds a lot of the materials that the kids love. We have Makey Makey, which is basically a circuit board. We've got little bits that I'll show you in a moment. We have these outstanding robotic balls. These are called Sphero robotic balls. We have a couple of Ollie robots that the kids can learn from. We are using right now, because I've got kids in the library, they're using all of our Legos. Since it's an early release day, we kind of have a choice day. We have measuring tools, we have a lot of circuits, we have box rivets, so that when we were using our, or doing our Cane's arcade games, we would use rivets instead of always using tape. I have a lot of materials. I've got fabric, we've got paper, we've got old books and magazines that kids can use. I have someone right now who is working on collage, so she's using a lot of those materials. This is our craft cart that holds almost everything we need. The kids just know right where to go to get their supplies. I've got Tinker toys that are out in the library right now. We also have a lot of attribute blocks that I use with kindergarten. And of course, we have a lot of recyclables. So we've got toilet paper rolls, plastic materials, cardboard boxes. Down here, you'll see some projects that are being worked on. Some 5th grade girls are working on a solar system where they're creating and painting and learning about each of the planets. Up here, you'll see some projects on tinkering. The kids are taking apart old TVs, computers, toys to find out how they work. They also have an opportunity to paint. We had a design contest in the early part of the year for a little free library that the middle school students made for us, and a couple of girls won that contest, and they're painting that. We have crochet and knitting materials, and I also just got 2 sewing machines, and most of the textile materials came from a Donors Choose grant that I wrote. I'm going to show you a couple of projects. These are art bots that the kids are working on. This is really a favorite. It's basically a robot that the kids have created with markers, and then you can see on the paper, once you add
the toilet or the toothpaste or the electric toothbrushes, they will move, and we use other motors as well, but you can see on the paper that this is the art that it created, and there's a lot of problem solving in that. Figuring out why it's working, why it's not working, what else could we do with it. These are a couple of examples of, we have a Monday Morning Maker Kids Club for different grade levels. And these are examples of kiddos who were challenged to try to create something from different materials that would hold up books, to display books. So here's one of them out of Tinker Toys. This one is out of Legos, and then this person created theirs out of boxes. This is a robot that was made. Mrs. Haynes, my paraprofessional, has a book club during lunchtime with some girls, and the book was ungifted, which you can see has a robot on the front. So she incorporated Makerspace into that by the kids creating robots. Probably one of the most popular materials in the Makerspace is our Little Bits kit, which are basically really amazing little circuits that just are magnetic and hooked together. What I've noticed with a lot of these things, when kids are working, they'll kind of play with it, and then at some point they're like, okay, now I want to do something with it. So this is an example of something that a third grader did. She figured out how to create light. Let's see if I can get this. And it's kind of hard to see, but she's got a light right back here, and it's covered in red so that it will kind of give off a red tint. So once she learned about the Little Bits, then she put it to use. We have other kids who are making Lego cars, and they are making them move with the Little Bits. So a lot of cool things going on, and it's all student driven. And it's all problem solved by them. If they run into a problem, then they need to fix it. And I heard somebody say earlier, I think it was either Tracy or Trey, that the teachers don't know everything. And that is so true. A lot of times the kids will not come to me if they have a question. They will go to the person who they know is the expert in that area. Okay, so now I'm going to walk out of the library, and it's kind of loud, and I'm going to walk back to the production room. Okay, so this once was the Makerspace, but Dr. Palmer bought us a green screen and a lighting system. And then right now we are just using iPads to do our recording, and that's working for us, and using iMovie. But I suspect that after a while, the kids are going to be past that, and we're going to have to go on to some other software for creating videos.
And
So
let me ask you a question.
that's my presentation. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, I do, Angela. So one of the things that I'm noticing is the enormous increase in video production. And so you've got teachers in your building who are actually creating green screen spaces in their classroom. Have you been finding lots of people really engaged in this, and how are they using it?
Well, I was a little bit afraid when we kind of made this room the production room green screen, that it wouldn't get used. It is used all the time. 5th grade uses it a lot they have like a choice cycle that the kids get to choose what they're going to become an expert in, and one of them is video. I know 1st graders have been working on video, 4th graders have been working on video. A lot of kids in my Genius Hour are doing some kind of video. There's a 5th grade group of girls that are creating a new show that they showed me the introduction, and it just blew me away. I have 3rd grade boys who are creating a video about Ninja Turtles. You know, it's all interest-based. And there are a couple of boys in 4th grade who are really experts on green screen, and it's really good for these kiddos that they can help other people. What I noticed is the kids who always do everything right and everything comes really quickly to them, technology isn't always their best mode of, their learning. And so the kiddos who have a hard time sitting still, who are, not always on task if it's paper and pencil, I'm seeing that this is where they shine. That's the biggest thing that I've noticed. And the other thing I've noticed is kids, when they are working together, they don't just go with their friends. They go directly to work with people who are interested in what they want to do as well. So it's happening all over the building, and I think it will grow as other grade levels kind of pick up on it. I think there will be more and more, and I think that's at the point where we get past iMovie and we're going to have other software. And that's what I'm hoping for. But right now, I'm really pleased with the quality that we're getting and the usage of the room.
Thank you, Angie, very much. We appreciate it.
You betcha.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, we get back over. There we go. Sorry. So yeah, we'll move back over, and this next slide, really, and Tracy can kind of talk about it. It's just a few pictures of some other flexible learning spaces that we have in the district.
I think one of the things that I'm noticing when I'm walking across the district, and these are classrooms from all over the district, I'm noticing more and more opportunities for kids to work together and to collaborate, and that's one of the things that's been really interesting. And not that they're having to collaborate 100% of the time, because there are times even as adults, I mean, most of the time we come together, we get the information we need, we go out, we do what we need to do, we come back, and we work some more. Sorry about that. But at any rate, what we're seeing is you're seeing lots of whiteboard spaces, and you're seeing lots of opportunities for kids to really engage. We're finding more and more people are looking for authentic audiences for our kids. And I think that when you start to see that, the exciting piece is that kids are doing real work that is relevant to them. And I know that the other day, my son even told me, and he's 10, and he said, you know, I used to sit and I'd watch the teachers do what they needed to do, and then I did whatever they did. And now he's like, I understand it's my job. And that was coming from a 10-year-old, which is just shocking. So at any rate, what we want you to know is that this is happening all across the district, and the district has been doing an amazing job of giving us the ability to make some adjustments and looking at every space as a learning space. And that's one of the things that I see with the access and kids having ability to have their own devices. And then the last thing that we were going to talk about is the fact that this works because we support teachers in unique ways. And so one of the things Scott and I have both been, and I know Dr. Tucker has all been trying to tweet out to our hashtag LPS leads. And so if you want to be able to communicate with some of these teachers that you've seen, you know, feel free to go out there, and then you can make a connection as well, because we're all learning together, dreaming big, starting small, and making sure that we're doing what's best for kids. Trey?
No, again, we wanted to thank you for the time here, and kind of open it up for any questions for Scott, Tracy, Angie, Linda, myself, anything. So, yeah.
I was able to go with Jennifer and see the fabulous things you're doing, which is great, and witnessing to this. So what's the plan, because you have a lot of pilots going, what's the plan then to integrate it throughout the other schools for next year and such? And I apologize for
No.
Do you answer it?
I'll try and fill in, but yeah, I mean, really the big thing is we've had a lot of teachers come, groups, really K-12 come to Epic, and partner with them, work with them, and we're also doing a lot of things with our tech mentors and so forth. So I mean, really anything that we're seeing in Epic as far as any collaboration, those types of things, we're trying to introduce where we can right now in other buildings. I don't know if that answers your question or if anything more specific.
And we can't replicate the entire space because the space was designed in a different element. But what we can do is we are really working on being a collaborative group, and what we've done is we've tried to break down all the barriers so that what we're noticing is that LPS is starting to see LPS, which means people are getting out of their classrooms, they're going to other schools, and we're really starting to see, and Scott can attest to this, we're starting to see people come back and say, you know what, now that I've seen it, I can see what I could do. And that's part of that inspiration piece, and just giving people a chance to connect, because I don't have to learn anymore. And in fact, if I do work in isolation, then I'm crazy, because I can reach out and I can work with somebody who's either across the district, across my hallway, across the country or the world, and no longer are we in a time where we have to sit here and say, I have to hold the knowledge and I have to be an expert. We have to give that up, and we have to be able to be willing to reach across and look at what else is out there. So what we're noticing is that it's not that they're trying to replicate Epic per se, because it's just a different situation and different grade levels. But what we're trying to see is that people are seeing that we need relevant education for our kids. And what can we do? What do we have power to control in our own classrooms to really get our kids involved and engaged and learning at a higher level? Great question. Any other questions?
Turn over to you, Dallas. Thank you.
Well, I think we've covered several miles over the last hour, and You guys did an awesome job taking us around the district, again, covering a ton of materials. So let's give a round of applause to our technology department and all the great work they're doing. Trey mentioned that Dr. Tucker, our superintendent, is in the room, and I thought maybe I could invite him up just briefly to wrap up and maybe just get his perspective on what he has seen over the last several months in Liberty.
Thank you, Dallas, and thank you to Tracy and Trey and Ms. Monachino, Ms. Klein, and others who joined in sharing the learning that's going on within Liberty Public Schools. We have been busy over the course of the last couple of weeks in going to each location, each building, each school site, as well as meeting with departments in a kind of a state of the district update, in providing information out from the district, but then also offering up opportunities to pose questions and come to answers in respect to the work that we're doing. And a common question is, what is next in terms of scaling out some of the work that's going on within EPIC? But to that point, as Tracy pointed out earlier and Trey shared, we have these types of learning experiences happening all throughout the district. And so while there's tremendous work going on at EPIC, Ms. Monachino put me on an app with a student the other day as I was walking through, and we worked on our addition tables together as far as working on addition problems. But at Kellybrook, at Alexander Donovan, at Franklin, at all of our sites, we're starting to shift our mindset and our culture towards personalization, towards the use of data, towards technology integration, towards flexible spaces, a lot of the concepts that were shared this morning through the presentation that you saw. And we're doing that by going and seeing and then doing. And so as Tracy shared, it really is about opportunity to go and see what else is out there, not just within Liberty Public Schools, but across the country, whether it's in places like Mooresville, whether it's in districts closer to us, whether it's a charter district or a public district or a private school for that matter, because in the end, it's truly all about meeting the needs of our learners. If you start from kind of a foundational principle, it's really nothing new in that you differentiate instruction, you personalize it. And over the years, the group that has done that probably the best is our special ed teachers that looks at the needs of every single learner and then differentiates instruction or personalizes instruction to meet those needs. We're stealing concepts from them to apply to the regular classroom. Equally, we're taking ideas from gifted education and those high expectations and that critical thinking that's so integral to what we do, and we're borrowing those principles as well. So it's tearing down silos, whether it's from within departments, whether it's from within a school, or from one school to the next across the district, and growing together. And so if anything, the concept is changing our mindset. And Scott shared that earlier, and that probably is a more important word than changing our culture, because it's that mindset of innovation. You've heard the analogy before in that we try to equip teachers with tools in their toolbox. I would say, A, it's about the toolbox. It's about the person standing in front of a classroom facilitating learning. But then it's also about that constant change of the tools, and that we have technology that is ever evolving and ever changing to meet the needs of learners. So it's trying to stay current, and as Tracy shared earlier, it's trying to stay relevant as well. So it's ongoing, but it's certainly a piece that we enjoy communicating out and want to also equip parents with an understanding so that they can support their kids through their own learning as well. If you're not on Twitter, as you heard today, that's probably the closest way of keeping tabs on what's going on in grade levels and classroom, because teachers are tweeting out their learning and their experiences. So thank you again for being here today, and I think that concludes our time together if there aren't any questions. Okay, thank you all.